Well, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out today. Times News, Channel 13, everybody from Harrisburg, gathered guests, and all the veterans behind me and Senator Argel. As we approach Memorial Day, which is a time dedicated to remembering those who died defending our country and to honor the men and women who serve our country, it only makes sense to make their transition into civilian life as easy as possible. As Pennsylvania rebounds from tough economic times, finding a job has been a top concern for many unemployed Pennsylvanians. Unfortunately, as bad as our economy is for civilians, it's even worse for our veterans. High unemployment rates among men and women who served in the military since September 11th, it's unacceptable. Despite their training and experience, many of our veterans are unable to find civilian jobs after leaving active duty because some employers say they lack experience. As an example, I have some folks here behind me that are going to speak in a little bit, but there's a young man, a 23-year-old veteran named Zachary Smith. After 4 years and 3 overseas deployments with the Marine Corps, the young vet must prepare himself for a future career now that his military contract is up. A few months ago, the 23-year-old veteran primary concern was keeping him and his Marines safe from their year-long tour in southwest Afghanistan. While his family now lives in Lycoming County, returning to Pennsylvania wasn't an option for him because he said there was no work here for him. Unfortunately, Zach is not alone. If we look at the charts next to me, it kind of tells a story of where we're at when it comes to unemployment rates and veterans. Young male veterans between the age of 18 to 24 who served after September 11th had an unemployment rate of 29.1%. That's much higher than the 17.6% unemployment rate for young males in the age group who did not serve in the military. Last year, the average unemployment rate for all non-veterans was 8.2%. However, for 9/11 veterans, the average were higher. For post-9/11 female veterans, the unemployment rate was 12.4%, while the male veterans rate was slightly higher at 12%. And we have pictures and graphs to show the unemployment rates. To honor our returning veterans and ease their transition home, I feel it's important to make it as easy as possible when applying for licenses and certifications issued by the Commonwealth that require qualifications they have already received in military training. As part of my commitment to put more Pennsylvanians back to work, I have introduced legislation, House Bill 2321, to ensure that a service member's military education and training are taken into consideration for the purpose of fulfilling requirements in civilian jobs. Under my legislation, an issuing state agency must consider whether a veteran's military service, education, training, and service experience satisfies certain or all licensing requirements. This will prevent duplication in training and education for veterans and help get them back into civilian careers quicker. The work ethic and leadership skills of our veterans are invaluable and in demand by many employers. Additionally, veterans also gain a variety of training and education that can lead to family-sustaining jobs upon returning home. At the very least, we owe our veterans our support as they begin their transition into civilian life, and that's why I believe my legislation will help to make the transition a little bit easier. I'd like to introduce some of the veterans that are gathered here with me today, some of the folks that have served from Carbon County that have served overseas. I just spoke a little bit to these gentlemen behind me, and it's remarkable the experiences that they have. And for any employers that may be out there viewing, you have great candidates for good quality jobs. I'd like to introduce Daniel Simmons. All right. Tom Connors. Tom, would you like to say anything? Or?
My name is Tom Connors. I separated from active duty Army August 29th. I served 10 years, 3 combat tours. September, 2 weeks after I got out, I started school, technical school, to better my skills, prepare me for the skills that the jobs say I need. I'm still currently unemployed, but I'm hoping I got something coming up in the future.
Lee?
My name's Lee Ramito. I did 12 years. I did 8 in the Marine Corps and 4 in the Army Reserves. Currently going to school full-time. I separated from the military about a year ago. I've been searching for work, but come up short since. So,
Howard. Howard, you served in the Navy.
In the Navy, yeah.
Vincent, do you like to say anything? Or?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm a regular Army veteran. I served 2 tours in Iraq, I should say. And I'm excited about this work that Mr. Heffley's doing with this new bill, because I kind of hit some roadblocks when I was looking for work, especially when I was trying to get my CDL license. I have 6 years of experience driving heavy equipment and using heavy equipment with the Army. And then when I got to the civilian sector, they required a lot to get CDL licensing, and so I'm pretty confident that this is going to help out myself and my brethren in the service. Thank you.
Thank you, Vince. Mike, would you like to say a few words? You good? Well, I just want to, if we could give these gentlemen a round of applause. Thank you for your service and for keeping us safe. And thank the American Legion here in Lansford and our veterans and our troops that are returning home. It's an honor and a privilege to represent them in Harrisburg, but it's also an honor to work for them here. I'd also like to introduce Senator Argel to say a few words.
As the senator for a good portion of Carbon County and as Doyle's friend and colleague, it will be my job to push this legislation through the Senate once he's done in the House, and that's a task I look forward to with great anticipation. This is a subject that is important to many of the people that I represent in the 6 counties. And I think one advantage, Doyle, we have is that we have a good friend in the person of Lisa Baker, who represents the Senate district just north of mine, who chairs the committee in the Senate that will be dealing with this issue. And so I'm looking forward to going to work to do this. I know in a class I teach part-time at Penn State, I've had students return from conflict with amazing experiences, but have told me the same thing that we heard today, that transition period can be difficult in finding a new spot, and that is something that is simply unacceptable. These people have a world of experience that the private sector and the public sector should be able to take advantage of, and anything that we can do to honor their service by making that transition a bit easier, I think is a very worthy goal. And so, Doyle, congratulations on a successful beginning of an effort, and I look forward to working with you once it gets through the House. Thank you. All right.
Thank you, Senator. Be open to any questions, if anybody would have any questions. If not, we'll kind of wrap it up. And I just once again want to thank everybody and thank our servicemen and our veterans that are currently serving and returning home for the great work that they've done abroad and keeping us safe. Thank you.